another light on, meter the two of them together, and then turn the third light on and meter the three of them together. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense? You guys stack them? Okay, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Do you need a? Did you turn that one on?
I was gonna ask you.
Let's turn it off.
We go old school.
We turn that one off.
Old-fashioned type.
You guys, did you already say about the modeling light on this one?
Yeah, keep the modeling light off on this one and then on for those two.
Yes.
The modeling light is the bulb in the center. That's the one that just basically casts the, casts the ambient light, so you can focus your camera and such. The bulb on the outside of that, regular incandescent looking
The
one,
ring.
that is the actual flash tube. Okay, so if your flash isn't firing, it's that bulb. But if you keep the modeling light on for these ones, it melts the gels.
And the modeling light is.
The little light bulb. Okay, so let's go through all of the settings on the lights. Do you want to just step out on the side so everybody can see? Just make sure it's off.
And we can show you how it will melt onto a honeycomb on the front.
I just,
It melts the gel.
I just moved this one, so I'm gonna move it again just to show you guys. Okay, this stuff is gonna be. Is this plugged in?
Should be.
Okay. Main power. Okay. When it's ready to fire, you'll hear a beep. Okay, it's ready to fire now. So main power. Ooh. And we have this. This is your flash trigger. Basically, just test flash. Looks like a little green flash, right? It's got that one. Can you all see?
Oh, that's a flash.
Flashes. Yeah. Next one is the little music note. I bet you can guess what that does. Beep. If you turn it off, it doesn't beep when it's ready. So if you're getting tired of hearing beep, 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 beep,
Do we
beep,
have to have it on?
no.
No, I turned mine off.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I'm
you'll
sorry.
get real tired of the beep.
Yeah. Especially when there's like 4 of you in there. No, it's just going like crazy.
Yeah. The one light that I would say it's advantageous to have it on would be your backdrop light, because there are cases where you're going to turn this one off, and if you don't remember to turn it back on for your senior blue, it doesn't look right. It looks a little dark, a little dingy. So sometimes it's nice just to have that one on so that you're just thinking about it more often, like, oh, did it fire? It didn't fire. Oh, because sometimes you'll see it. Well, you'll also always see it if you're shining it on the black, but sometimes when you're using the blue, you won't notice right away if it's not on, because it just looks a little muddy. So that's your beep. Beep. I'll turn it on for now. And then the next one is the little eyeball. This is your slave function or cell function, kind of interchangeable. Basically, if you turn that one on, what that does is it turns on this little eyeball here, this little sensor, so that if I fire this one, if it was pointed at it, that one will also fire, okay? Maybe somebody else has this on too. You basically will use that in a situation where if your transmitter stops working, if you cord to your camera, you could put the other ones on slave, and then they would all fire. You can use them in like a gymnasium if you're using your external flash unit to bounce light off the ceiling, but you also have a couple of lights on the side because, it's nice to get an f-stop of, an F-16 or F-22 if you're shooting a big group. Sometimes it's easier just to use your slave function than your transmitters if you're using an external flash unit. We don't use them in a regular school day setting because if you fire your lights over there, then mine are going to be flashing over here with my subject going, I wasn't ready, I wasn't ready,
It's terrible.
I bet that's never happened. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Everything's
You
happening.
ready?
Okay, so these three we're all comfortable with, right? Those are all easy. Flash, music, slave function. That one stays off. The one in the center, the complete center, is your modeling light. This turns on the regular incandescent light bulb in there. Incandescent, is that the right word? Incandescent, right? Yeah. So this is your modeling light. You guys see it? If you are in a dark space, you can actually turn up the modeling light and it will go into like a free mode rather than a proportional mode. So these two buttons just control the amount of light in your modeling light. It'll automatically default as being proportional to your main power, so that you could kind of maybe model the light, see how it is. But if you're on a auditorium stage, they can be really dark, and sometimes you don't want to turn on the stage lights because they add like 1,200 colors to your mix. it's good to bring your modeling lights up for these two lights only, not this one. So just off for these ones, on for these two. The next one is your main power. Basically, these go from 2.3 to 6.3. They do not coordinate with the numbers that you're looking for here, okay? If you're trying to get an F80, you know, an F8 here, you can't just move this to 8. It doesn't work that way. It does in some controlled environment and where Elinchrome was doing some sort of testing. It would be like 1/10 of a stop. It's supposed to go up. So 2.3 is as low as you can go, and 6.3 is as high as you can go, as far as your main power goes. And you will actually hear the difference from a 2.3. Do you kind of heard the pop? It was like real. I'll turn the noise off. If you turn it way up, nope, hang on.
Whoa.
Yeah.
A lot more power, right? Yeah.
It's like lightning.
Boom, pop. So yeah, most of the time you'll be shooting at a very low setting. So that's your main power. Those are the functions that you're going to use on these Elinchrome lights every single day. In addition to that, you have to learn how to program the lights so that they're at a specific frequency, so that when you're using your transmitter, the built-in receivers are going to go off when you fire this button. Nothing's happening. Got it? Oh, here I am. Probably all of them are firing.
Yeah.
Hers are.
Oh, yeah.
And
You shut your light.
specifically, one of the things, just to make it easier, so you never have a question of what frequency you're on, especially in Oklahoma when we have 7 sets. Based on your set number, that will be your frequency number. So if you have set 1 assigned to you by the end of the week, you need to be on frequency 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so
It
forth.
works
So
out
there's
great
never a
for
question.
Oklahoma and Dallas, because you guys don't have more than 8 sets. Once you get above 8, then you may have to, you know, if you're both shooting and you're both having to be on frequency 2, it's going to create a nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay?
Be way away from each other, I guess.
No, you just change the frequency. So
Yeah.
we're going to do that right
8?
now.
Well,
Well,
she's
not-
saying
well,
if
there's
you
8 frequencies. So right now, Dallas and Oklahoma, it's not an issue. You can set your frequency as long as everybody set it correctly to a different number, which you might have to talk to Hobbs about or Ashley about to figure out what's.
But like if something happened and somebody from Dallas came up and it's somebody from Tulsa and you're both set on frequency 4 because you both have set 4, one of you is going to have to change your frequency. So
We'll
she's
figure
going
that
to.
out
It's
pretty
pretty
fast.
easy to.
I'm going to tell you how to do it right now.
It's pretty easy.
Okay.
Well, I
It's
mean,
really
we'll
easy.
figure out we're on the same frequency.
So
pretty fast.
the one thing that or your cell function is on. In order to set it in your manuals under in the equipment section, there's a light or a chart. Let's see if I can find it. Light meters right here on page 12. There's a chart here. Okay, this chart corresponds with how to set the frequency channel on this transmitter. So there's 3 tiny little, what do you call them? Like, yeah. Basically, if it says you're going to be on frequency 8, that would be on, which is up, up, up here, okay? So we'll set this one for frequency 8.
Fine for right now.
I don't know. Okay,
We're going to redo it Friday, so we'll be.
okay. So in order to set the frequency on the light, you have to get into the menu. There's 4 menus in here. To get into the menu, you basically press your 2 power buttons at the same time, and you'll see it start to flash. All right. The first menu you come into is radio. This determines whether your radio transmitters are actually on or off. Okay. Use it as radio 1 is on. Okay. If for some reason your light isn't firing, perhaps something happened and it defaulted and it turned your radios off. I've had it happen before. Okay. So your radio transmitter is on. Perfect. Golden. Love it. To get to the next menu, if you let go of it, it just goes back. You know, it comes out of the menu. To get to the next menu, you have to press the modeling light bulb, okay? Now we're in G, we're in the menu for group. We'll just keep the group, it really doesn't matter what group you're on because we're gonna shoot on all here. But basically, just keep your groups at 1. And that means if you had this on group 1, all my lights would fire. If I wanted to, in a situation that we would probably never use for legacy, I could set this one to group 2 and this one to group 1. I could walk into this room and fire this light, change it to 2, walk into that room and fire that light. Okay, so that's kind of where it would be, what it's used for. If you have this on all rather than on group, no matter what group setting your lights are on, they'll still fire. So it's not really something we have to worry about. Okay, so I have to get back in the menu. I'm gonna change it to the group menu, and the next one is frequency, F. This is the one where you'll change the frequency. I'm gonna let it go back, because it was going up. We'll do it again. Radio, group, frequency, and then I'll just use my main power button to change it to 8, okay? The next one is, can't remember what that stands for, let me think. It's an I, and it stands for interval. Make sure it's at 1 all of the time. Basically, it determines when I press the power button, how much it's going to power up and power down. Okay, so if I had it set to 5, it would go straight from 4 to 4, 5, which is too much. You know, we want it to have as little as possible so we can really fine tune the output of the light. So if I did it right, if I have this on 8, that one should fire. Perfect. You wanna set this one? To 8?
The frequency.
Okay.
I knew it. Hold them together.
Wait,
Yep. To get in the main menu, you have to hold them both together.
and then,
And then how do you get to the other menus?
don't I press
Yep.
this?
Mm-hmm. Take it to F.
And then just up.
Yep.
Frequency to what?
8.
So everything's gonna be 1, except your frequency is gonna be your set number.
And then it's just set now? I didn't have to do anything after that.
Right. All I think you have to do is make sure it works. Great. See if you want to do the big thing.
It's not as scary, I promise.
You were a little panicked there for a minute.
It was like,
I froze. No, I don't want to do it.
no pressure.
If you guys all want to just make sure you can get into it, that would probably be best. Just pick a light and
Go.
change the frequency.
You want us all to just change our frequency to 8?
No, because then we won't be able to shoot.
Yeah, no. No, no,
Why-
no, no,
Why
no.
not? It would just be like.
on? No.
Good job.
We will
Alright, so
probably
this is-
have you set it